There's a power within you that has been asleep for far too long. A force buried beneath the noise of your thoughts, your fears, your self-doubt. In every moment where you told yourself that you couldn't, that force is not aggression. It's not ego, it's raw consciousness waiting to rise. You weren't born to live small, to walk through life quietly avoiding pain, or to just survive. You were born to awaken, to create, to dominate your circumstances, and to step into a level of awareness so fierce that it shatters everything you once believed about your limits. The true beast isn't outside of you, it's the deepest, the most intelligent part of your being that remembers what you've forgotten. You are capable of far more than your mind has ever told you. Most people never meet. It's part of themselves because they've been conditioned to suppress it. From childhood, you were told to be realistic, to calm down, to fit in. You were trained to silence your instincts, to ignore the voice that whispered, "You can do more." And so, the beast within was never nurtured, was sedated. It learned to stay quiet, to play small, to comply. But deep down, you feel it. That restlessness inside you. That ache that won't go away. That's not anxiety. That's your potential begging you to wake up. Every time you feel unfulfilled, every time you sense there's something more to life, that's the beast knocking, reminding you that you were never meant to live a life of quiet frustration. Awakening this inner beast begins with awareness. It starts when you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and start realizing that every thought, every emotion, every belief you hold is shaping your reality. The beast is consciousness. It's your ability to observe yourself without judgment, to recognize that you are not your thoughts, you are the one who witnesses them. You are not your pain. You are the energy that moves through it. The moment you step back and watch your old patterns instead of becoming them, you reclaim your power. You stop being the program, and you start becoming the programmer. That's where the awakening begins, not in noise, not in chaos, but in deep inner silence, where you finally meet the real you. Imagine this. Your brain is a receiver, constantly tuning into frequencies of energy. Most people are tuned into fear, scarcity, and self-doubt because that's what they've practiced. Every time they think, "I can't," the brain fires and wires that thought deeper into their identity. The beast, however, operates on a different frequency. It's tuned into creation, expansion, and dominance. When you begin to consciously shift your focus from limitation to possibility, you literally start reprogramming the circuits of your mind. The beast wakes up the moment you stop rehearsing your past and start imagining your future as if it's already real. Your thoughts create electrical impulses in the brain. Your emotions amplify those impulses. And together, they generate the energy field that determines what you attract. This is not motivation, it's biology. It's neuroscience meeting power. You can't awaken the beast while living in fear. You can't activate greatness while being addicted to your past self. The body remembers who you've been more than your mind does. Every emotion you've repeated, anger, guilt, frustration, has conditioned your body to feel that way by default. To awaken the beast, you must break that emotional pattern. You must teach your body what the future feels like before it happens. You must breathe, visualize, and embody strength, focus, and gratitude every single day until your body starts believing that this new state is who you are. The beast doesn't wait for the external world to confirm its power. It generates power internally and then changes the external world to match it. There comes a point where you stop asking, "When will things change?" and start declaring, "I am the change." You begin to act as the creator of your destiny, not a bystander in it. This is where most people hesitate. They fear the unknown. But what they don't realize is that the unknown is where the beast lives. It thrives in uncertainty because uncertainty is the only place where new possibilities exist. When you embrace uncertainty, you step into the realm of creation. You move from thinking in familiar ways to thinking in expansive ways. You stop repeating the same emotions, and you begin to generate emotions that match your vision of the future. That's how you awaken the beast, not by fighting the old, but by focusing all your energy on building the new. Every great transformation begins in solitude. The beast doesn't awaken in comfort. It awakens in discomfort and discipline. In moments where you choose strength over weakness, focus over distraction, and creation over reaction. It's born in the quiet spaces where you decide to stop negotiating with your limitations and start remembering who you are. When you sit in stillness and connect with the energy that breathes life through you, something extraordinary happens. You begin to sense that you are not separate from greatness. You are greatness waiting to be expressed. The beast isn't about overpowering others. It's about mastering yourself, conquering your own mind, and expanding your consciousness until your energy becomes undeniable. The awakening is not loud. It's not chaos. It's coherence. It's the alignment of thought, emotion, and energy moving as one. When that happens, the old self begins to dissolve, and a new self emerges stronger, calmer, unstoppable. The beast is not a monster. It's awareness in its most primal and intelligent form. It's the part of you that knows you are not defined by your failures, your fears, or your circumstances. It's the part of you that knows you were built for more. The greatest prison that exists isn't made of bars or concrete tits built within the human mind. Most people live trapped in a mental cage, believing they are free while their thoughts and emotions replay the same limited story every single day. This cage is invisible, yet it defines how far you go, how much you dream, how hard you fight, and how deeply you believe in yourself. The cage is not outside of you. It's a collection of patterns, fears, and beliefs that have become your identity. It's the story that whispers, "This is just who I am," when in truth, that story was written by repetition, not destiny. The beast within you cannot roar if it's chained to an old self-image. And breaking free begins with understanding that you are not your past, you are the awareness capable of rewriting it. From the moment you wake up, your brain replays memories of who you were yesterday. You wake up thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, doing the same actions, and expecting the same results. This loop is what scientists call a programmed automatic pattern that runs your life without your permission. The mind becomes addicted to familiarity, even when that familiarity causes suffering. You may say you want change, but your subconscious mind resists it because it fears the unknown. The brain craves certainty, not growth. And so, day after day, it pulls you back into the same cycle of comfort, fear, and emotional repetition. That's the mental cage, an illusion of safety built from the very patterns that limit your potential. Breaking the mental cage means interrupting the program. It means becoming conscious of the unconscious. It means catching yourself in the act of being your old self and daring to choose differently. Every time you decide not to react with anger, not to spiral into fear, not to repeat the same self-defeating story, you weaken the bars of that cage. You begin to rewire your brain. The neural pathways that once fired automatically begin to dissolve through disuse, and new ones are built through repetition of new thoughts, new actions, and new emotions. The brain doesn't care what you believe. It simply responds to what you repeatedly think and feel. When you learn to consciously direct your focus toward creation instead of survival, you start reprogramming the system. That's where transformation begins. Most people live in survival mode. Their bodies are addicted to stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. They are constantly preparing for danger that doesn't exist, reacting to thoughts that trigger fear, anger, and insecurity. The body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a thought. It reacts the same way. This keeps you trapped in a biological feedback loop where your mind controls your body and your body reinforces your mind. To break this cycle, you must become greater than your environment, greater than your body, and greater than time. You must teach yourself to think beyond your circumstances, to feel emotions that match the future you desire, not the past you're trying to escape. When you start to meditate, reflect, and observe your thoughts without judgment, you begin to notice how often your mind is running on autopilot. You see the same patterns of doubt, fear, and limitation playing over and over again. Awareness is the key that unlocks the cage. Once you become aware, you can no longer be a victim of your own programming. You begin to reclaim your power to choose. The moment you choose a new thought, a new emotion, or a new action, your energy shifts. You send a new signal to your brain, and the chemistry in your body begins to change. This isn't magic, it's neuroplasticity. It's the science of transformation in motion. You are literally teaching your mind and body to experience a new reality before it exists. The mental cage also thrives on identity, the labels you've accepted about who you are. I'm not good enough. I've always been like this. I'm just not lucky. Every time you repeat those words, you reinforce the walls of your prison. You strengthen the identity of limitation. But identity is not fixed. It's fluid. It's a collection of beliefs. True power has nothing to do with force or dominance over others. It's not about how loud you roar or how hard you hit. It's about how still you can remain when the storm comes. Becoming unstoppable begins when you understand that energy and emotion are the real engines behind every action, every thought, and every outcome in your life. Everything you experience, success, failure, motivation, burnout, originates from the vibration you carry within. Most people have been taught to chase things outside themselves, to seek validation, status, or comfort, believing that those will give them power. But the beast mentality understands something deeper. Energy creates reality. When you master your emotional energy, you master your destiny. Every emotion you feel is a signal, a frequency that shapes how your mind and body function. When you live in fear, your energy contracts. Your body prepares for survival, your heart rate increases, your breath shortens, and your focus narrows. You can't create from that state. You can only react. But when you live in elevated emotions like gratitude, clarity, determination, and self-belief, your energy expands. Your body opens up, your brain enters coherence, and your heart begins to guide your actions with intelligence that goes beyond logic. You start to think more clearly, act more deliberately, and attract experiences that match your inner vibration. This is not a concept, it's measurable. When you feel empowered, your electromagnetic field grows stronger. Your immune system improves, and your mind becomes more adaptable. Energy isn't just abstract, it's biology and physics in motion. The beast mentality is emotional mastery. It's the ability to harness every feeling and redirect it toward growth. When you feel anger, the beast doesn't suppress it or explode, it converts that fire into focus. When you feel fear, it doesn't run it, uses that fear as a compass pointing toward the next breakthrough. When pain shows up, it doesn't hide, it leans in, knowing that pain is the signal of expansion. Most people let their emotions control them. They wake up in the morning and immediately relive yesterday's feelings, replaying the same mental movie of frustration, worry, or regret. Their body becomes addicted to those chemicals, and so the cycle repeats. But when you begin to observe your emotions instead of being ruled by them, you step into true control. You realize that emotions are energy in motion. And energy can be directed anywhere you choose. Imagine your emotions like the current of a river. If you let it flow unconsciously, it can pull you in any direction, toward chaos, stagnation, or destruction. But if you learn to navigate it, to steer that current intentionally, it can carry you toward creation, strength, and transformation. Every time you choose to remain calm under pressure, you're not just reacting differently, you're reprogramming your nervous system. You're teaching your body that peace and power can coexist. The beast doesn't need to fight every battle. It learns to preserve energy, to move with precision, to strike only when aligned with purpose. That's why the beast appears, commits, not weak. It's controlled chaos. You become unstoppable when you realize that your emotional state determines the quality of your decisions. You can't create an abundant future while vibrating in scarcity. You can't build meaningful relationships while radiating insecurity. You can't lead others while being a prisoner of your own anger. Emotional coherence means aligning your heart and mind into harmony so that your actions flow effortlessly. When your thoughts send one signal and your emotions send another, your energy becomes incoherent, scattered, and weak. But when your thoughts of confidence are matched with feelings of gratitude and certainty, your energy becomes magnetic. People feel it before you even speak. That's the silent power of the beast. It doesn't need validation because its energy speaks louder than words. Your emotional energy is also your creative power. Whatever you feel deeply, you attract more of. If you constantly rehearse emotions of doubt and fear, you are broadcasting a signal that calls in more reasons to doubt and fear. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. That's why transformation begins internally. When you generate elevated emotions every day, joy, focus, love, strength, you begin to build a new energetic identity. You stop waiting for success to make you feel powerful. You start feeling powerful so that success has no choice but to find you. The beast doesn't wait to be motivated, creates motivation through disciplined energy. It knows that emotion follows action, and action reinforces emotion. The cycle feeds itself, creating unstoppable momentum. But emotional mastery doesn't mean pretending to be positive all the time. It's about awareness and control. When darkness appears, you acknowledge it, feel it fully, and then release it. You don't deny pain, you use it. Every time you channel a difficult emotion into purpose, you alchemize suffering into strength. That's emotional transmutation, the art of turning weakness into wisdom. When life throws challenges your way, the beast doesn't ask, "Why me?" It asks, "What can this teach me?" Because it knows that every emotion, no matter how painful, carries energy, and energy can be refined into power. To sustain this level of control, you must become deeply present. The past and the future are where fear and guilt live, but presence is where power lives. When you are truly here, focused, aware, breathing, you detach from emotional triggers. You begin to respond instead of react. You notice the pause between stimulus and response, and in that pause, you decide who you will be. That decision, repeated enough times, rewires your emotional blueprint. You begin to operate from strength, not habit. You begin to feel emotions that support your vision instead of destroy it. As your energy evolves, so does your reality. You start attracting people, opportunities, and outcomes that mirror your vibration. You find yourself surrounded by individuals who match your frequency, and circumstances begin to align in ways that once felt impossible. This is the power of coherence, your internal world becoming so ordered and powerful that the external world rearranges itself to match. The beast within you isn't trying to conquer the world, it's mastering the universe inside, because once that's done, everything outside bends effortlessly to your will. There comes a moment when you stop striving to become and start being. A moment when you realize that transformation is not about effort, but embodiment. Living as your future self means stepping into the identity of the person you wish to become before the world validates it. It's no longer about chasing success, waiting for signs, or hoping that one day you'll get there. The beast mentality knows that the version of you capable of everything you desire already exists within. The question is whether you have the courage to live as that version right now. The true beast doesn't wait for external permission, it commands existence by aligning thought, emotion, and action into absolute coherence. Every time you visualize the future, you create a neurological blueprint in your brain. Your mind doesn't distinguish between imagination and reality. It reacts to both as if they are happening in the present. That's the secret of living as your future self, to feel now what you would feel then. If you want to become confident, you must begin to feel confidence before there's a reason. If you want to be successful, you must begin to embody the energy of success before the evidence appears. The old self is addicted to proof. The new self creates proof through belief. This is how the beast is born, not through wishing, but through the deliberate act of being. You must teach your mind and body what the future feels like until it becomes your natural state of being. Most people wait for something outside of them to change before they allow themselves to feel differently. They wait for the promotion to feel worthy, the relationship to feel loved, the achievement to feel successful. But that's living backward. It's the old program of survival. The beast doesn't wait for life to give it permission to feel powerful. It generates that emotion internally and lets the external world catch up. When you begin to live as your future self, you stop being defined by the past. You stop repeating memories that no longer serve you and start rehearsing the reality you want to experience. Each thought becomes an act of creation, each emotion a frequency that broadcasts your new identity to the universe. The process isn't about pretending, it's about alignment. Pretending is forced. Alignment is authentic. Alignment happens when your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors all tell the same story. You can't think like a warrior and feel like a victim. You can't speak of greatness and act out of fear. Coherence is the language of power. And when you live in coherence, your energy field becomes magnetic. People sense it without knowing why. Circumstances shift in your favor because your vibration is consistent with your intention. The beast lives in a state of unwavering consistency. It doesn't drift back into the old self when challenges come. It holds the energy of the future, no matter what the present looks like. Living as your future self requires discipline, not the kind that comes from struggle, but the kind that comes from devotion. You must be devoted to your vision more than your excuses. Every morning, you choose to wake up as the version of yourself who has already arrived. You think like them, breathe like them, move like them. You ask yourself, if I were already that person, how would I show up today? And then you do it. You embody it. You act from it until it becomes effortless.